We've got a new intro alert. So we're going to talk about a breakout candidate for the Browns this year. But before we get into that, I want to give a big shout out to Jason Burns, Graphic Burns. He hit me up on Twitter and said, hey, the intro's good, but I think it can be better. And I agreed, and so did my boss. So he sent us over 2 different intros. I'm going to play both of them for you guys, and you can tell me which one you like more. But producer Rolly, let's roll intro number 1. Okay, and now let's get into intro number 2. I like them both. I believe Rolly said he likes intro number 1 a bit more. Honestly, I go back and forth, but like the Browns, I want it to be democracy here, right? The team let the fans pick Brownie the Elf for the center field logo. They let the Browns fans pick which the alternate logo it would be. And I want you guys to pick what the new intro should be. Number 1 or number 2. Comment down below. Now, welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with a fun show laid out for you guys today because we're going to dive into a breakout candidate that was identified by Bleacher Report. And I think it's a pretty good one, too. His name is, well, we're going to find out in just a moment. But first things first, shame on me for not bringing this up earlier. Kind of got a little bit busy here, but the new alternate logo has been revealed. I'm a big fan of it. It wasn't my first choice altogether, but taking a second look at it, I can really appreciate the symbolism that the artist put into it. Can we throw it on screen one more time, Rolly, please? Because there are a lot of hidden meanings behind it, right? When you take a second look at it, look at the ear at the top left. You have the outline of the state of Ohio. You've got the Guardian Bridge where the dog's mouth is. There's a guitar pick in there. There are so many symbolic things kind of woven into it. So I'm a big fan of the alternate logo. It wasn't my number 1 choice, but you know what? It's growing on me. So shout out to the artist that came up with this. The name's slipping my head right now. But all in all, it's a pretty darn good logo to be rotated in with Brownie the Elf and, of course, the iconic helmet logo. But what do you guys think? Do you like the new alternate logo? Yes or no? Altogether, I'm seeing a pretty good reaction from the fan base. I'm a fan of it. Rolly, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up from producer Rolly. So pencil me in for a Y for yes down below. Now, let's jump into the breakout candidate for Cleveland. That would be Grant Delpit. So, Bleacher Report put out 10 different NFL breakout candidates for 2023, and they had Delpit for the Browns. Now, he's entering year 3 with the Browns and in the NFL altogether. Now, as far as PFF ranking for safeties go last year, he was sort of middle of the pack-ish, 54 out of 88, so slightly below the median. But when you look at the other Bleacher Report breakout candidates, it's got some pretty notable names on there. Kenny Pickett, that's not going to happen. Rachaad White, that could be a good sleeper pick in fantasy. Love the Garrett Wilson selection. Chigoziem Okonkwo for the Titans. He's going to be a pretty good tight end, I suspect. Abraham Lucas, Odafe Oweh, Khyiris Tonga, Nakobe Dean, Derek Stingley Jr., and then Delpit. Now, this is what Alex K. from Bleacher Report wrote on Delpit. The 24-year-old never came off the field last year and should continue to log 100% of the defensive snaps going forward. With that type of workload and his ability to contribute in all facets of the defensive scheme, Delpit may earn his first Pro Bowl nod as early as the 2023 campaign. Now, more on this in just a moment, but first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's Browns Report is sponsored by NordVPN. NordVPN is striving to make the internet better than it is today. It can be free from online threats, censorship, and surveillance. Get your online security package now by visiting nordvpn.com/BrownsCS. Get 4 months for free by using that link in the description and comment section when you purchase the NordVPN 2-year plan. So this is what NordVPN gives you guys. Online protection with a single click. Plus, when you're traveling, you can set your location to home so you don't miss your favorite content. Also, you can stay safe from malware, and it's the fastest VPN on the planet. And all this is with a simple click. Choose your location and click connect. NordVPN won't track you or share what you do online. Your data is always protected by next-generation encryption. Get started now. Click the link in the description or comments. That's nordvpn.com/BrownsCS to get 4 months for free of NordVPN and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Delpit last year was the leading tackler for this team, which is kind of good and bad at the same time because he made a lot of tackles. You really don't want your strong safety being the last line of defense that often with 105 stops, 4 tackles for loss, 10 pass breakups, and 4 interceptions. Now, in coverage, it wasn't glamorous. 35 targets, and he gave up 22 receptions, so well over 50%. Allowed 349 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, when it comes to safeties in coverage, they're usually not doing press man coverage and taking on little routes. So if they do get beat, well, when you're a safety, that's the last line of defense. It tends to be a big play, so you can get some big chunks of yards. Now, when you look at Delpit's 2022 stats and PFF grades, you can see there was a big improvement from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, right? Start of the season, the first 8 weeks, he gave up 242 yards and 2 touchdowns. But he really buckled down in the second half, and it showed with his PFF grade improving 9 points. Only allowed 107 yards and no touchdowns. Up the interceptions numbers as well. So Delpit really took off in the second half of the season. The biggest knock on 22 early on was the miscommunications, right? It wasn't only on him, but the Jets game was on his half of the field. And unfortunately, it really stunted what was supposed to be a breakout season in year 2 for Delpit. But Jim Schwartz is going to fix that. He is going to take what was a very complicated secondary and lingo and terminology and kind of simplify things a little bit to rule out all of those disastrous miscommunications and get this secondary where it was supposed to be last year and rid it of all the Joe Woods errors early on in the season. So if you think Grant Delpit is going to have a breakout season, let's show the guy some love. Spam 22 down in the comment section below. If I have not sold you or if Bleacher Report has not sold you yet on a Delpit breakout season incoming, we've got more arguments coming your way, but light up the comment section with 22. Now, when you look at Cleveland's safety room, they added Juan Thornhill. They also added Rodney McLeod, which I think was a very underrated move. If Jim Schwartz wants to roll with some 3 safety looks, he will have 3 caliber starting players in Thornhill, Delpit, and McLeod, and you can make arguments for all 3 being the best of the bunch. And also, I mean, DeAnthony Bell comes back for a second year, and 2 really good UDFA signings as well from Columbus come up to Cleveland. We'll see if any of them make the roster. But the big addition in the safety room was Juan Thornhill, right? An early free agent signing. And when you compare him to who he replaced, John Johnson, it's an upgrade, in my opinion. I mean, this really shouldn't be an argument. Across the board, you are improving from Johnson to Thornhill. Overall, higher PFF grade, 2 more interceptions, more pass breakups, and ranked 20th out of 88 qualifying safeties. So Thornhill steps in, and he is going to make Delpit's life a lot easier. And Alex K noticed that too, saying he's clearly becoming comfortable in his unique role within the defense and should continue to show immense growth over the next few seasons. His best asset is his versatility, as the 6'3", 208-pounder can be used as both a center fielder or in the box. When you add Juan Thornhill to replace John Johnson, you can let Grant Delpit kind of just roam the field a little bit, right? And use that great size and speed that's not very common for safeties, 6'3", to hang out in the box a little bit, blow up plays and whatnot, and also not have to be the number one player in pass coverage in the secondary, because Juan Thornhill is great in that regard, and unfortunately didn't always see that from Johnson last year with some lazy tackling at times and also just WTF plays far too often. So Thornhill coming in is going to alleviate a lot of pressure on Delpit to kind of do 2 jobs at once. The free safety job and the strong safety job. Now Delpit can focus on being just a strong safety and being the best at it possible. Before we get out of here, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Matthew Petey. I'm always talking brownies, always over there. That link's in the comments and the description of today's show. And as always, we end the show with Pick a Card Time. Producer Rolly back in the saddle today. Nick, what card are you thinking? King of Diamonds. Okay. Funny thing was, I was gonna do King of Hearts, but I'm gonna audible. Give me Jack of Spades. Jack of Spades. Okay, one last cut. Ace of Clubs. Ace of Clubs. Okay, that's it for today's show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to sign off, and we're going to see everyone later.